Hi everyone, we are at ILTACON 2025 and I'm not alone. I'm here with our managing director from the US, Max Paterson.
Hey everyone.
Hi, Max. Max is also, you have met Max before. Max has been helping me roaming the streets of New York and asking people whether or not they were using ChatGPT. We had a bet, Max, I think you won at the time. So we're here at ILTACON.
Yeah, we were at Legal Week at the fancy gala.
Exactly. So we're here at ILTACON. Max, you have an aching shoulder because of all the high fives that you got.
She's the kind.
Everybody knows Max. So we're going to walk around a little bit, take you for a spin, and show you what is happening in the world of legal innovation, legal tech, legal AI, and also quiz some people we meet and just give you a feel about how it's here in Washington, D.C., National Harbor. Everyone is here, I think.
Yeah.
You're not.
You're not here, but you know what? We'll walk around, we'll show you some stuff, we'll talk to some people, you'll feel like you're here.
Next, while we get to our first guest,
Yeah.
First question for you. What is the number one thing you learned?
I think AI is past buzzword now. It's about where the rubber's hitting the road. The feedback I got the most of from people of, oh, what's your favorite session? Those types of things. People are so thirsty, so hungry for real use cases. I think that's what they thought their price admission would get them. Look at that. We're right by the big ILTA TV set here. We're doing our own thing. But I think people were looking for, they want to know about real stuff. Those are the sessions I've heard that people like the most. And then the other big learning is billable hours. People are still talking about it. Like there's a whole session on it, but it's a subtext of what's behind each other session.
Yeah, of course, because people know that it's not going away.
Yeah, and that was, they did an hour-and-a-half session essentially to be like, yeah, don't worry, it's not going to disappear overnight.
Oh, that's Chris Ford.
Here we go. We got Legal Tech Hub.
Chris Ford is heavily pitching.
What about you, Michael? You come over, you've just done a bunch of conferences in Germany, and this is kind of like the big US.
It's the biggest in the US, no?
Yeah,
Is it?
I think it's the big one.
Yeah. To be honest, European conferences are more packed. Look behind us. It's not very packed. This is.
There are sessions going on right now, granted,
okay,
but yeah.
But look, how many ILTACons have you been to?
Yeah, I've been to 7 now, I think.
Oh wow, okay, that's a lot. I think I've been to.
Other than like the pandemic ones, do the virtual ones count? Probably not. So probably the same, 5.
Okay, but it has always been like it had these weak moments, like these moments where there's not a lot going on. But this one still, it feels this a bit strange because it's hype times.
Yeah.
It still feels a little bit empty.
I'm with you there. So what I've noticed as I was setting things up, like people are more interested in doing one-on-one meetings than they seem to be coming in and organically going to the booth, which, hey, I'll take, that's fine.
But many of them are still people who are just curious. But
Yeah.
still, you have, look,
That's starting to pick up. Maybe the sessions are done now.
Living on freebies.
Last night, actually, one thing that was really good, last night we did a boat cruise with Skills.law. So good conversations. It's funny, everyone, like when you put your hair down and let your hair down a bit, people are going through the same stuff and the same steps right now.
Yeah.
Like when you really boil it down.
That was a good event. We have to talk about this in a second.
Yeah. So Lega's having a big meeting.
Christian Lang, where are you?
Okay.
Well,
Hi, everybody.
The
Out
most charming
there.
person in legal tech, Kate Boyd, Sente Advisors.
how long have you been with Center? You
3 years.
3 years.
3 years, yeah.
What's your specialty? What's your superpower at Center?
Getting shit done.
GSD.
Yeah. Every organization needs one
You
or
need
many of them.
At least one. At least one. Some other people will drag you down.
Yeah.
But only one person
We
to
got a good group, but our firms definitely need it too.
Wait a second. You have $5 million right now in your hand. You can invest in someone you see here or a trend that you see here, and you can't say A.
We can build something.
But,
What
yeah.
would you do? You had $5 million, your Center Advisor closes down, and now you can do whatever you want. What would you do?
I think I would invest $5 million in legal tech.
No, you have that's
Wrong answer,
I'm
Kate.
not going on record on that.
Yeah.
Sorry,
That's fine.
guys.
That's
Okay.
cool.
Okay, interesting.
But yeah,
that's-
what's some cool stuff? Sente.
Sunday's cool
Yeah,
stuff.
people. Yeah.
We're having fun. We're playing games.
cool. Nice.
That's what we do.
What is? I have a question for you because you're famous for building things. It's a real question, like grown-up question. You're one of the I want to say agencies or teams known for building the complicated, intricate things like complex document automation, complex workflow things that what you can do. what use cases are you especially focused on? What is happening now that AI has entered the world? Have the use cases changed? Are they the same? What use cases have been enabled?
So I think a lot of what we're seeing is those use cases that are multi-step inside the business of law.
Okay.
So not necessarily, I would say a lot of people are handling what the lawyers are doing,
Yeah.
but how can you do an end-to-end process in the finance department, for the HR team? Those things are actually really complicated, and they've got teams of professionals that right now are spending a lot of time doing them who could be doing other things. So that's a lot of where we have fun.
Okay.
Because there's all the data, all the workflow come together, and you have a real opportunity, I think, to make change.
And have you more of those happening now, or are they the same?
I'm sorry.
Are more of those happening now, or has it not changed?
I think there's excitement about them in ways that we didn't have a couple years ago. A couple years ago, you could be saying, we can innovate your HR team, and everybody was like, now they're like, we have pressure to adopt new technology and change the way we're working, and we need to drink our own champagne. If we're going to make the lawyers do it, we need to do it across the entire organization. So I think there's a lot of firms leaning in where they never used to. They used to be really repellent. Oh, this lady's been doing it for 25 years. We're not going to change that. That's done. Now they want that lady come to the table. Let's talk about what you've been doing for 25 years. How can we can that expertise and really turn it into something?
Even if it ain't broke, you should fix it.
You should fix it. It shouldn't be a reliance on one person flow anymore. We can get that one person doing other things.
Well, fantastic.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
That's real answers. There we go.
See, you made me have my grown
There you go.
voice and
There we
everything.
go. Now you're an influencer, by the way. So there you go. So get ready for that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Take care, Kate. We want to welcome ciao. No, we're outside. For those of you who have never been to National Harbor, this is at the Gaylord, and it's a gigantic terrarium. So if you want to know how your spiders and snakes feel that you keep at home, this is how they feel.
Yeah.
This.
Except with climate control, it's
Yeah.
a very odd feeling.
So it's a strange,
Do a
big-
full pan up in the giant glass dome that we're in, but somehow there's quaint streetlights and a house and a little town.
we're
all
inside that, so
Yeah.
it's warm, but also not too warm.
Cool.
It's a
It's fine, sound people.
go for a spin.
Go around, yeah.
Go for a spin.
Sure. Yeah, so I think, as Michael said, the turnout this year has been really good in terms of lots of firms, lots of new mid-sized firms have shown up. I think they are now looking at positions that can look at legal technology from like a full-time role. And so they find ILTA, they're coming out a bit more. So new conversations with people who are just getting to know the industry. So that's been cool.
Yeah, that's true. What I find interesting is that people are taking it for granted that it's a thing and it's happening. Nobody discusses, should we do this? And there was like always this big question mark of, does this really make sense? However, people are now talking about the use cases, and I think there's a vibe that just throwing AI at things is not always helping. Huge diversity in opinions about what the future will bring.
Yeah.
There are people who see this as this is the end of it. There's people believing, actually arguing heavily that in 5 years, in 6 years, the legal market will have profoundly changed and some law firms will get impacted. For those of you who have watched the episode with Mark Cohen, where he advocated that the top 20% of law firms would probably become bigger and the long tail would be heavily impacted if they wouldn't change. The sentiment here is often that people say it's actually the biggest firms because they have the biggest exposure to big portfolios where corporates start to in-house, to insource, and to basically bring capacities inside. So there's different people.
This is the space where people meet when you can't get in the vendor hall.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a unique thing about ILTA is the vendor hall doesn't open till like part of the way through the conference. So you've got to scavenge or get a meeting room separately. Or
it's maybe worth mentioning that ILTA has a root in the IT tech world of law firms. So maybe do go for a spin outside and go around. So it's like the former people from the library, IT team, knowledge management, people who build the infrastructure of the firms. This is where ILTA is rooted, and this is the knowledge of the firms. Like this is the meeting to discuss how to run a law firm. And it has been brought into the limelight through Legal Tech, Wave 1, and then Legal AI, now Wave 2. So this is an organization that has grown, but I think 10 years ago was way more tech and,
Yeah.
I don't want to say nerdy, but it was like operational technology focused. It was like IT
It
department.
was IT, yeah. Those conversations were, okay, what does deep search look like? Okay, what does infrastructure elements look like? How's our email system? We're still, but the cool thing is now you can marry those. And I think that's why there's such a thirst for use cases, is because you have both the people that are making the strategic and business decisions of how firms should be plotting out their journey, mixed with the people who have to actually do those things, mixed with the tools that you're trying to evaluate to achieve that. So isn't that the ultimate mix for a conference?
Yes.
Yeah.
What was interesting is I think before, like, an M&A partner wouldn't come to ILTACON.
No.
But now they do. That's the funny thing. Like, it's an interesting mix now of people. Like, you have people, what I call the front end of the firm, that are coming here because they're using the technology and they have an interest in it. That wasn't the case even like 2 years ago. That was not the case. You had the tech-focused people, the innovation team, but you did not have anyone else thinking about that. We just met with Chris and Marina, and you're in the committee of ILTA. Can you,
I'm a committee, planning committee, yeah.
can you share a bit what do you do with ILTA?
Yeah, so the ILTACON planning committee is made up of 7-8 teams that organize and sessions and help select speakers and deliver sessions here at Conference for Education. I'm managing a team that's focused on AI, but AI this year is, you heard of it? I learned how to spell it. It bleeds across all the teams because AI is just, it's here. So I enjoy working with the committee and meeting people.
Actually, Chris organized and coordinated one of the first sessions I ever did at ILTA when I was speaking. So
that's how we met.
Long history. Yeah.
How do you like it? What's the turnout this year?
We still have people registering the day of. Last year was our largest number of attendees ever. I'm hearing rumors that we're going to break that record this year. We'll hear by tomorrow what the final count is.
Record-breaking ILTA. There we go.
Yeah, I think also a statement on the industry, right? Like growth. More people coming
Yeah,
up.
so it becomes industry, right? Like more people go from the back end to the front end. We just talked about this. We wouldn't have an M&A partner go to ILTA in 2010. But now you do.
Right. Yeah.
That's very interesting. What's your view on the market? What is currently hot? What is overhyped? What's underhyped? What's very hot?
AI everybody's got to have it introduce it in their product somehow, some way. And when it's not done in a meaningful way, it's just done because if you don't, you'll look like a laggard. That's in being able to find where is it really being used in a powerful way, and where is it being used because if we don't do it, you'll look foolish. I think we're seeing more sessions this year about hearing what firms and organizations, real world, what they have done with AI. We heard some examples last year. We're hearing even more of those examples this year. And it's amazing because it's not just the big firms. It's some of the mid-sized firms are doing some fantastic things. And it's awesome to hear.
Nice.
Congrats on the conference. Yeah. That's a lot of fun.
Guys, it doesn't happen. It takes a village, right? The volunteers, the business partners, the members, we all come together, we learn from each other, and networking, meeting new people. That's how we met however many years ago. And I still, whenever I see you, it's a great time to catch up.
Celebrity roaming the rooms. I think
Totally.
if you ask
there were people I had to ditch.
if you ask someone where the impact of AI is, they will say it's document review at scale. This is something that will go away. And the OG player of document review at scale is definitely Noah Weisberg with Kira, and Noah is just here. Noah, that's hot. What's hot currently and what's not hot? What is overhyped and underhyped?
I'm not sure about overhyped and underhyped, but I think some of the really interesting things to me right now are how you get AI that gives you pretty good but not perfect results, either to perfect results or to spots where they don't need to be perfect. And I think thinking about that is really interesting to me. I think what's underhyped right now is just the difficulties that large law firms still have around incentives and how are they going, right? That like for all the hype about AI and stuff like that, I think it remains a challenge to figure out how to get law firms to have ROI from efficiency technology. Like, I believe it's there, but it's not like a simple thing like you go faster, therefore your business is better. And I think it's still a challenge to figure out how to do that. And I think it's underhyped how much trouble that is, or maybe something that should be cutting the best line.
Do you think we should talk more about use cases that kind of prove ROI? Do you think people are ready to have them, or are we all just figuring out what works because everybody's, let's say, tinkering?
I think there's ROI, but I do think it's really complex. Like just thinking about like the Kira use case of contract review, and I'm not at Kira anymore or anything like that, but just if you review, say, a large, thinking about a high-end law firm, if it costs them an hour to review a contract, like you can argue about whether it's 30 minutes or an hour. And a high-end law firm is like around $1,000 an hour for the most junior associates right now. So if you think about that, like you're saving $500 a contract potentially if you do a 50% reduction in time, which I think a lot of people would say they would realize with Kira. Maybe some people would say 30, some people would say 70, but say 50%, right? So you could be talking like $500 reduction in contract. You review 100 contracts on an M&A deal. It's like a $50,000 savings. But who's it a savings for? It's not a savings necessarily for the law firm who's paying you. And I think figuring out some of that business model challenge is something like still a decade plus after my first ILTA where I was talking about that. I still think it's tricky. Like I can give a great explanation for how you can work that dynamic as a law firm to make more money, but it's not like a 2-second explanation and it's complicated. And I think that still holds efficiency tech back in legal. And I think it's going to continue to a degree that like, I'm not even sure that people are taking account of. Like on the one hand, lawyers like using this tech, but on the other, I do think the business model challenges as well.
The funny thing about that use case is also that there's an amount of just handling and doing the stuff and taking responsibility for it that is basically in the pricing of the task.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is that my impression is corporate teams don't want to insource that yet. They still look
No, I think there's great ROI for legal teams that do insource that, but I think you're right that a lot of them have no desire, partially for like liability, like risk management reasons, partially just because like it's not that fun. Right? Like, it takes a lot of time and it's really nice to get other people to do it. Yeah, there's lots of interesting stuff, but I think there's also a lot of really interesting things around like how accurate does work need to be. Like I think for big law firms, which is the market when I was selling to law firms that was most important to me, I think they are really great at delivering 100-ish% work product. And I think they're like not so good at delivering like 80% work product. And I think there's situations, a lot of situations where people need that 100%, but I don't think all the situations that people use Big Law for right now are 100% situations. And I think there's like interesting possibilities around spots where like maybe people that don't buy stuff from large law firms right now because it's too expensive might be willing to buy something that was radically cheaper and maybe not done at that same high threshold. So,
yeah, it's one of the interesting learnings that many firms and many teams have a due diligence software, like Kira, the market leader, but many tools. But many also don't, and they just agreed on, we do a spot check DD and we just will not look into the tool and they were fine with it. So there's even a bigger potential of people using tech now that things get more technical.
Yeah, oh, I totally think so. That's like the Javon's paradox, which I've been hearing about for...
Since DeepSeek came, people suddenly realized that we have to come up with that concept. Noah, one question. You assume you have $5 million US and you need to invest in legal tech or legal AI tomorrow. What do you buy, build, or invest in? What do you do?
Realistically, number one, obviously, Zuba is the spot where all money should be buying, right?
No,
but actually,
and what do you do with the $5 million there?
Super. Right now, we're very focused on sell side M&A and not selling it to law firms, but helping companies who are selling themselves. So, like, when BRYTER, eventually decides to exit or something like that, we could help you be ready to do a deal much better. So I probably, realistically, if I was going to spend it, I'd probably spend it there. Or the other thing I would do is I would probably spread it around to a lot of different places, because I think in this particular moment, I think it's
Smart answer. Smart answer.
so I would do like $50,000 in, I guess, 100 places.
Yeah, this is the gold answer
Or
because
100 or more. Maybe I'd do 250.
No, I
a
always
bunch of
knew you were an
places.
angel. You
No,
know,
because
that's-
But I would do it that way. Like,
index
I
the
just,
market. Index
but
the
I
market.
actually think it's very hard to know what individual things are going to do well.
100%.
Like you see, like companies that do well, and there are companies that do well, like it can turn on a dime. Like I think one of the things that you've seen with two really good examples of this, I would actually do it into some new companies, but I would also do it into some existing ones. Like I think about case tests or Blue Jay, both ones that like kind of went along and kind of for a long time. And then something changed really quickly. And we had this with Kira too, like just we were tiny. And then all of a sudden, like we got a couple things right. And it just
the hockey stick.
really goes up.
Yeah.
And you just don't know when that's going to happen, but it does happen. And it's like quite unpredictable. Like I also think there's things that'll be up that go down, and it just can go in different ways. And so what I probably would do if I was going to actually invest in other stuff other than my own, I always think my own is awesome, but if I was going to actually invest it, I would go around and just drop in a bunch of places, like 50,
Index the
100.
Traps table, put it on a little bit everywhere.
So
Yeah.
the agreement is the market will grow, which is why we go wide and diverse into the market, and we hedge our bets. I like that.
Yeah, I
And
think
also-
like this moment is unpredictable.
Exactly.
Right? Like,
There's
it's just-
you hear that a lot, that people are like almost pretend like you don't learn too much right now because the market will change so much in the next 18, 24 months. Don't take any like long-term bets right now because you don't know what's going to happen next year. And people are like, these things
I think you can make long-term bets. Like I'm not saying that, but I think if I was like in this type of situation, rather than making one big bet, I think you'd actually have a lot more fun just doing a lot of stuff.
nice. Good
Thank
stuff.
you, Noah.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Hi, Alex.
Hey, Michael,
How is life?
life is good.
How do you like the conference?
It's been very busy. We've had a lot of traction here.
Sure. Give me 2 sentences what you do.
We're a global legal technology directory, and we also provide Gartner-style insight and analysis for law firms and in-house.
Here we go. And you're a wine lover.
And I'm a wine lover. Any wines from Burgundy are wonderful, especially those from Rousseau.
Not bad. I had a Merceau last week, 2 weeks ago.
Was it from a particular...
No, actually, it's from one of the producers who is actually not even having his own vineyard, who's basically buying them.
a negociant?
Yeah, but he's more David Moret, you know him?
No, Moray.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It's good. No, but not like the best of the best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome.
Also, I rarely drink the best of the best because I'm stingy. But
Let's try the Michelescu.
oh yeah, you told me about. It.
Yeah.
But also you like the funky, the slightly experimental things.
I do, like the natural yeast.
Yeah, good.
But it's great to see you here.
I have a rapid fire question for you. Hang on.
Rapid fire.
Yeah, rapid fire. So, what did you think is overhyped and underhyped?
I think overhyped is everything about generative and agentic. I think agentic,
He's overhyped.
and everyone's talking about agentic, which is great. It's a fantastic new development.
Yes.
Underhyped, I think, is focusing on real use cases and helping buyers to understand exactly how to apply your solution rather than talking about all of the technology behind it, but actually what problem is it going to solve?
Yeah.
A lot of vendors are not talking about our product solves this, and we need to see more of that.
I love it. Very cool. And I'm here with Tara Waters. So you all know Tara. If you don't, Tara, you give me 2 sentences what you're doing now. You were very influential at Ashurst. I think you also were shaping the legal tech world in London, then globally. What do you do now?
Now I do that as an independent consultant. So working with all factions of the legal industry, trying to help digital transformation take place.
Okay, nice. I have 3 questions for you. One, what is overhyped and underhyped?
Overhyped workflows. I think we learned 10 years ago, workflows are not that exciting. And so I think we're thinking too deeply about the problem as it existed previously and not about how the problem will exist in the future.
You're telling me that. But you're
Yeah,
the first
exactly.
person to say workflows overhyped.
I think underhyped, platformless and embedded AI and the tools that rely on voice interactivity as opposed to tools where you're typing instructions.
Okay, cool. What would you do if you had $5 million to deploy, to invest in a legal tech market companies in general? You can build something, you can invest in something. What would you do if you had to do it tomorrow?
I think I would take that money and I would hire some really amazing engineers and start trying to build some of the solutions that I think are missing in the market.
Can you share what you think is missing?
Oh.
Giving away a business idea now. So whoever's listening, this is Tara's idea for...
I think going back to that platformless AI, I think solutions that are actually adapting to the way people work and the way people want to work, and especially the way lawyers want to work, as opposed to tools that require instruction all the time.
Okay, so definitely a point solution for a specific problem?
No, I think something a lot broader. So, AI companion that lives in your ear and is working with you and helping you get your day done in the best way possible.
Okay, here we go. Alexa 2, but working.
Yeah, she loves it, but working. Yeah.
Nice, cool. Thanks for sharing. Have a good conference.
You too.
Thanks. I'm here with Al, who's the director of AI, KM, and innovation at Gowling.
That's right.
So you're one of the. I think you're also an influencer talking about like Canadian legal tech.
Okay.
I think you are. I'm pretty sure you are. Al, 3 good questions. Number one, what do you think is overhyped and underhyped? What do we talk too much about? What do we not talk enough about?
Yeah, I think we talk too much about the word agentic.
Okay.
I do think the word agentic is very important, but it's actually not as fancy as it's made out to seem.
Yeah.
I don't think we talk enough about legal operations, about really breaking apart what are the steps that happen in different workflows throughout the legal process.
Okay.
That's where the biggest opportunity is, really parsing out what those steps are and then designing workflows around those steps in order to completely automate areas of law that I don't think people are aware can be automated right now with the state of technology.
So you're also saying is we don't talk a lot enough about the messy work that needs to be done around the magic?
Yeah, we want the magic, just better models all the time to just brute force our way into automation. But there are so many pathways if we would just do the knowledge engineering work to think through areas that can be automated now that people think is very bespoke and complicated.
Okay. I love the answer, as you can imagine, but still, I do agree, and I think it's true. Yeah, the party is the work.
Yeah.
That's nice. If you reflect on the last 3 days, the last 4 days, what's something that you learned, something that inspired you, surprised you, something that you didn't know before?
Yeah, I think for me, ILTACON is great to just bounce ideas off of people and talk about the future of law with my peers and with vendors. And the thing that surprised me the most is I'm sometimes a little bit further out there in terms of thinking about what can be reinvented and reimagined and disrupted in law. And I feel like just bouncing ideas off of people, I feel like the industry is there. We see there is something very big coming in this industry, and it's super exciting to feel that momentum.
Interesting. But you also insinuated that you're in a bubble of very smart and maybe ahead thinking people, and the mass adoption isn't.
Yeah, or maybe crazy people. I don't know. We could be wrong. And that's the balance of innovation. You've got to be ahead of the pack in some ways, living in the future world, but then you've also got to be very practical in the present to find value right now in tools. Otherwise, you'll just lose people.
I like it, yeah. And also, I have this theory that if people would only adopt what is available today, the world would already be very different.
Yes.
It could be so different already. If just use the tech that's there.
Yeah.
No, cool. I like it. If you had $5 million US dollars tomorrow, Canadian dollars, to invest in...
I want the US dollars.
You take the US dollars.
Yeah.
You have to invest them tomorrow. They're not your money, but you can put them wherever you want. You can buy something, you can build something, you can invest in a company, you can do whatever you want. What would you do with $5 million? You have to go into legal tech, though. You can't say, I go insure tech. That doesn't work.
No, I would build an AI-powered law firm from scratch.
Nice.
Yeah. Everything AI first, automate one process at a time, and then eat up the entire value chain.
Okay, good. Makes a lot of sense. AI native firm, good.
Yeah.
I think also to be true, I think this is the canary in the coal mine. If those work fast, they prove that this is already.
Exactly.
Interesting. Cool. Good questions, Al.
Okay, thank you very much.
I'll talk to you.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'm here with Conan Hines, Director of Practice Innovation of Fried Frank. Conan, you impressed me a lot I think that was earlier this year in a legal tech meetup in New York, actually hosted by, was it Free Frank? Yeah.
Yeah.
And you had the best selection of wines I've ever seen at a meetup. Very impressive. Shout out. Good job.
Thank you.
3 questions for you.
Let's do it.
What have you learned in the last 3 days? Something you observed, something you didn't know before, something that you find interesting.
I think it's the dynamic representation of the people here now. It's not just innovation anymore. It's IT, it's marketing, it's HR. I think to see more people now come and join the conversation is really actually what we need. I think that's the game changer.
I heard this too. I said before it was an IT, legal IT conference, and now you have M&A partners here.
Yeah. And it's important. We need to be out of our echo chamber. We need to invite all the others that really are going to be part of the change that's coming.
I love that. One of the things we talk too much about. What do we talk too much about? What is overhyped?
I mean, that's just the easiest question in the world. It's AI.
Okay.
It's how great AI is going to be. That's what we talk too much about.
Okay, nice. What do we not talk enough about? What should we talk about?
All the inherent risks that AI also brings. We don't talk enough about security. We talk, I see a lopsided conversation around how just wait till the agents are here. And like with every step an agent does autonomously is an exponential compounding of the risk that you're exposing to your firm and your client's data. So it's not that we shouldn't do it. It's just that let's actually talk a lot more about it.
Good. Nice. So also about the hard stuff to do, like what is hidden behind the magic. You have to get your hands dirty for the stuff that is not easy to do, and not even in training, but actually risky and, I don't know, no shortcut.
I think there is some, and I don't think it's intentional by most, but I think there is, people's identity are wrapped up in the success of AI. And to me, that's not where I'd hang my hat. I'd say AI is a tool. We need to bring it in. There's a lot of other innovation to do that's not AI. And just don't tie yourself to the hype machine. It'll serve you well long-term, your credibility. And I look back, in fact, a couple years ago and see what people were saying about AI. And you look today, and I just don't think it's the same type of voice. And I bet you people would probably disagree with themselves 2 years ago. So just be prudent, and it's all good. The models are really good now. We don't need better models. They're already amazing.
I know.
But we're talking about better models.
No, but if you would use the stuff we have and you would really adopt it and roll it out properly and bring it to play, we would already have a very different world.
That is the thing, because in the past, when I first got into this world, the tech wasn't there. It wasn't good enough. We didn't have anything worth really adopting. Now we have probably too much stuff, and that's the real challenge. We have really good tech out there, but it's really hard for people like us to say, okay, what are the right investments, and how do we now put it in the hands of our lawyers? It's not a question of whether the tech's good enough.
Good. Very interesting observation. Cool. If you had to invest $5 million US tomorrow, I got money handed to you, you have to deploy it, you can buy something, build something, invest in something, do whatever you want with it, but it needs to be in legal tech and you have to deploy it and you get the returns. What do you do?
Yeah. The good thing is you didn't say it had to be big law. Big law does not need any more investment in legal tech. The consumer market is where everything is. 80 to 90% of normal people's legal services go unmet.
You're the first one to say that.
And I'm usually the first to say a lot of things, Michael.
That's why they're
right. Doesn't mean they're right. But I think there's a huge TAM. I think we're pretty capped here actually in big law, and I think there's a massive TAM for people to have new types of revenue streams. They're not spending money on legal services. It's too expensive to even get the process started with AI. You're going to get like a very far along with AI, and then you're going to bring the lawyers in. And I think what we're seeing in Arizona, and really I think if money is behind the providing of legal services, then the unauthorized practice of law will not stand in our way. And so I would be invested in consumer, direct to consumer, B2C, legal tech. That's where the money is.
Listen to the man. Listen to the man. No, that's very good. Cool. Thank you very much. Thanks for sharing.
Thanks, Michael.
Good stuff. Great talking to you.
Cool.
Hi, everyone. I'm here with Rob Ciccone. Who is this? Are you the CTO or the CEO of
CTO.
CTO. Here we go. And Rob, he's one of the most famous people in legal tech, definitely on the East Coast. And you have been in legal tech for decades. How many ILTACONs?
My first ILTACON was when ILTA was called LawNet, I think back in the year 1999 or 2000.
Oh, wow.
So I've probably been to 18 or 20 of these events. It's changed over the years, but the getting time to meet up with people who are so willing to share and that I've come close to, the good friends of mine over many decades, it's priceless. So exhausting,
But that just
worth it.
yeah, good. What? Give me one thing you learned over the last 3 days. What you observed, what you know for.
I think a very common theme I've picked up on is what a few people have called POC fatigue. With the dawn of generative AI and all of the products that followed, a lot of firms that we work with are casting a wide net, trying everything and anything, and it results in an enormous burden on KM innovation staff, those who would be responsible for evaluating and scanning the market and figuring this out. So the proliferation of new products coming into the market, especially when it's incredibly difficult to differentiate, right? Both on our end as vendors, but also from a buyer side. Like, what does one product do differently than another? They all begin to appear to look the same. And we're one of them. But at the same time, I think it creates an extra load. I spoke with many chief knowledge officers or innovation leads saying they just need more bodies now, more than ever, just to keep up with the demands coming from the attorneys, from clients, from everyone who wants to get their hands on these AI tools.
Wow. I'm always impressed when I hear this because this is something you always wanted to happen. And now it happens and people are like, oh, now we have to actually do it. But the other thing is I recently learned that in tech, when people like buy tech products from like coding, they're used to doing regular checkups, like what is the actual usage, what's the number, how do we like it? They do regular assessments, and then they negotiate much like shorter buying cycles, so that they can also like replace tools in an easy way.
Yeah.
And those people told me that their impression of legal was that legal is totally fine to work with product for a decade or 20 years and just not change it or throw it out, even though everybody hates it. And I thought about this and I was like, is it actually true? But I think it is a bit true because we want to make the effort once of looking really into tools, like really make a decision and then roll it out and then deal with it.
But the market changes, new products change, especially now. It's been over all my time in legal and legal tech. There are very established categories and anchor products inside of law firms, time and billing, document management. Those are the products that are very sticky. The switching costs are high, very hard for a disruptor to come in and get them out. With this new wave of generative AI-based solutions, where AI is the product at the moment, not a feature, it's created a new category, and a lot of firms spent a lot of money into that category right out the gate.
Yes.
Remains to be seen if those categories stick and stay for 10 years, like time and billing.
Yeah, it's a new category. Maybe with new rules, but maybe also just currently with no rules, and it will become a category.
That's how it feels right now.
No, very cool. Rob, what is currently overhyped and underhyped? What do we talk too much about? What should we talk about more?
I think the predictions of the death of the billable hour, the massive market change that will result because of Gen AI is, now I'm a little bit cynical. I've been doing this for a long time.
Do it.
But I've
25 years of ILTACON. You worked hard for that.
Thanks. I've worn many hats in that time, including spending time with attorneys to design process, to do process mapping. I had a giant Lean Six Sigma team at Sci-Fi years ago. And so looking at the delivery of legal service from different angles, including being a buyer of legal service, leaves me thinking that these AI-fueled predictions that everything is going to change quickly are very much overhyped, right? There are forces at play within the firms and in the corporates that buy from them that will resist that and resist it hard. So I think AI is fueling like a renaissance of enterprise search and workflow and things that have existed and we should be focusing on. I think that's good. But I think the idea that AI in the next year or two or three is just going to radically change the market is a bit exaggerated. It's the Bill Gates quote on, we underestimate long run, we overestimate the short run.
I agree.
Underhyped, that's an interesting...
By the way, the funny thing about hypes and fueling that, even here, I would have expected more people, especially in the ILTACON, like community, to be like that, to have this a little bit like sober and been there, done that vibe.
Yeah.
But interestingly enough, like there are also some of the veterans that are saying now is the time, and it's almost like a bit of a kind of emotional reaction to the efforts they put into this decades long to convince the legal market that there was a place for technology innovation.
I think so.
And now that the magic is there, they're like, and we were right after all. So there's this, but it's a different, that's more of an emotional backlash rather than an observation that this is really profoundly different. I think I agree with you. And I think we will, first of all, we will see who's right.
Yeah.
We will all witness that, you and me both. But it's a good observation, I think. Good. What are we not talking enough?
Not talking about enough. It's a tricky one because there's a lot being talked about right now.
Okay, maybe
I
not.
think,
Maybe we should
well,
stop
okay. I think, especially from my friends and colleagues on your side of the pond, there's always been a pragmatic view of technology and a bit of a cynicism, a little. And there also seems to be, like, while there's this big refocus on fundamentals around information access and search technologies, there is a growing pushback on that, saying, look, you can't forget to do the hard yards, as one would say. Get your data right. Think about integration and interoperability. From a CIO's perspective, reassess the technology stack that supports your practitioners and so on. These are basics. These are table stakes, right? But if AI fuels a catalyst, whether it's a part of it or not, really, to step back, reassess, and say, what would a modern technology stack or ecosystem look like in a firm, in a corporate legal department? I think it's increasing, but people are definitely easily distracted by the shiny thing, which is, how does AI magically do all that for us? Now, I do think it has a role in all of this, but it remains to be seen exactly where and how AI will be deployed in a professional services organization. But inevitably, it's going to take a little bit of a reboot on some of the things that are bread and butter inside these businesses, which is great for companies like BRYTER, companies like what we're doing. There's a fundamental component of interoperability, security, enterprise quality things that plug into an ecosystem properly. And to do that takes a lot of work outside of the one product you're looking at. They all work together, or they should.
Yeah, that's a very good observation. You mentioned the difference between Europe and the US. What we always learn, we should learn more from the Americans, is that hyper obsession with usability, ease of use, and that it's available, easily available. It's just comfortable.
It's critical.
And you love that. And AI is that, right?
Yeah.
It's the time to value using a chatbot is practically zero.
Yeah.
And the problem with all the hard work behind the scenes that you mentioned is not zero. It's a lot. And that makes it hard. And then you lose people on the way. And that makes it more of an investment. And then you have a surface for failure. And it just makes it hard. And this is why everybody's so jumping on the candies, because time to value zero, super easy to use. There is some value there.
I think I agree. And I think some people may be conflating time to value with just time to a result. And so, in other words, being able to spin up an assistant, add some content, ask some questions of it, have it literally generate a response that is mind-blowing. Like, I remember first seeing ChatGPT back in the end of 2022, first working with the team at Casetext to look at co-counsel. Mind-blowing capabilities. But I think as the dust settles, there's a question of value. So is it generating something that is valuable enough that the massive time savings and like amazing automation potential of this stuff, is it delivering a result that is not just faster and cheaper, but better, or at least at the same level of quality? And people are struggling with how to think about evaluating what is a subjective amount of generated content. So that adds to the cognitive load, the burden, the POC fatigue. But it's not just, does the product work, but can it move the needle for how people do their jobs inside of a law firm?
I like that. Very cool. Last question. You have $5 million to deploy in legal tech tomorrow. What do you do? What do you fund? What do you fuel? What do you buy? What do you build?
Can I take it and retire? Or
no,
is that off the table? Okay,
that's
sorry.
off the table.
Okay.
But you can invest in legal. You can say, I want to hire 5 sales.
I would 100% bet on me and my team all the time. But
best investment.
Let's see. Bigger picture, I think there's massive potential. And it's not just because you and I are talking about this. The combination of workflow and automation and process-oriented tools with generative AI and with integration capabilities. So interoperability, observability like we provide, and the ability to automate complex processes. That's the killer combination. Inevitably, we're going to see a lot of consolidation in this space, right? Like, it would be interesting to get ahead of that and design it instead of be a victim of it. So I would take that money and find a way to build out a proper category defining tool set where right now those categories are not defined yet.
Cool. I like it. Good answer. Nice. Thanks for talking to me.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Nice. This was ILTACON 2025. People are wrapping up, people are packing their boxes, and everybody's in a hurry to get home. What have we learned? What are our key observations of the last 4 days? Maybe 3 weird ones. When I ask people whether the market becomes big or small, whether it shrinks, whether it expands, whether we have money and market share moving to the clients, whether the law firms will change, all of these things, one observation is key. People are equipping themselves with the picks and shovels. There is a gold rush and people believe there is a gold rush. The interesting thing is, currently people probably think they need to use the picks and shovels, not to dig for gold, but to hit each other on the head to defend their gold. That's the number one observation. We will not use picks and shovels to actually dig for gold. We try this too, but we defend our gold. This is maybe one of the key observations here. Number 2, one of the interesting things, nobody has a clue. Nobody is 100% convinced what is going to happen next year or in 3 years or in 5 years. Everybody is looking around, discussing, and being uncertain. Number 3, I think, interestingly enough, people are at the same time bored by AI and cannot hear it anymore, while they are incredibly excited about it. And they cannot escape it, and they want to talk about it. So there is gossip, there is conversation about it, but it is, at one time people don't want to have it anymore and have almost a thirst for discussion about other things. It's a recurring pattern that people are convinced that the real work needs to get done behind the scenes. People are still mesmerized by the power of it. And that leads me to point number 5, or point number 4. What is very interesting about this is, especially comparing the US to the European legal tech scene, Americans love convenience. They love convenience. They love the easy access. It needs to be super, super convenient. And AI brings that closer. It is that promise of value without investment. It's the promise that value basically is immediately there without a lot of training, without a lot of collaboration, but it's there for everybody. Which is why, point number 5, I think that category of AI assistants, it will remain. It is a new category. You could argue that it maybe even started with online research systems that are empowering every lawyer to get the research done and to do this. But this category of an AI platform for everybody for individual work, this idea where the value is there for everyone to use, that will not go away. That is beyond the hype. It has reached a level where people are confident enough about it and where people are very clear that this will be used in the future. Point number 6, though, we don't know what the measurable impact of that is. And there are many reasons why this is. One of them, of course, is that everybody works differently. So if you use this for individual empowerment, maybe some of the stuff is actually not so helpful because your work is different. You do different things in commercial litigation than you do in IP. So the impact of the AI assistant on an individual level is very different. And it's sometimes not easily measurable. And it's especially not easily marketable and sellable from the point of view from a law firm to their client. So a recurring pattern here is that people have questions about the ROI of AI when they talk about AI being an AI assistant or an AI platform. That's a very interesting observation because people also talk about what the real use cases are, the real value. And what they mean by this is also that we are only now starting to talk about use cases that go beyond individual empowerment. So, summary, we are for the first time in an area where we have a superpower technology that we all agree on will probably have an impact. We, I think, have a tendency that this stuff is here and will remain here for individual efficiency gains, but we are only now discovering the use cases on level 2. So that's it from this year's ILTACON. Great conversations, great encounters, many good new conversations, then old friends here. I can always recommend people going here. This is the best insight into the legal tech and the legal AI world. Everybody comes around from around the world, and you have conversations not just with people from the US, but from really everywhere, wherever they are. I say thank you very much for listening in, and thanks for joining Bots and Billables. Until next week, take care and goodbye.